Hey, good morning, folks. Welcome to Wednesday, 29th June 2022, and the summer is flying in. What we saw yesterday on these markets, on equities in particular, was a little bit of a push on the open, which then was firmly taken back and pulled back down to earth. And quite an interesting area for equities to then sell off from. We were looking at that possibility in the room on our pre-call at around 2 o'clock, which we do in Duggan Capital. So please do get your free sign up for a month and check it out. Check out what we're looking at. But really, we did see a lot of weakness come in on equities yesterday. Let's get over to the charts. What we're going to look at here this morning is SPOOs, oil, and let's look at the bonds today. So what we're looking at here is this morning, just waking up from quite a bit of selling here on the S&P last night. So, it's quite a tricky little spot here. Of course, you got that 8 a.m. bit of volatility push up into what was the R1 at the time. Couldn't really get any further. Then again, on the open in the US, nice volatility push. An opening drive reversal, and really, really nice there. As I was saying yesterday, it's very hard to be on the drive and then flip very quickly to the short. And so really was on a bit of this drive to the upside on SPOOs and a little bit on Dow. And then when she came back down and kind of gave it up on pivot, what was pivot there, and test on VWAP, then sleigh ride to the downside and selling PVAH and buying back on PVAL down here. But I was all done at 4 o'clock and off the desk. And of course, then we just continued to see that weakness down into the close. So kind of, I think on the open to close yesterday, looks like we got something along the lines of a 2% move to the downside on the SPOOs. Now for today, really, I think while we are still under a little bit of pressure on the downside here, I think the market just has a little bit of a blip left in it. So let's go over to the daily bars, have a little bit of a look here. Yeah, and so back inside of this area here, probably switch to a weekly to show you what that is. It's just a little knot of an area here from back in February 2021. So I'm going to tidy up this chart quite a bit. I have been looking for the buyers to come in on 36.17s, and that would have been all too simple, really, given that we tagged that area twice. Last was the week of the 1st of Feb 21. So, you're kind of expecting a little too simple a layup trade there for the 36.17s, but either which way, we came shy of it and pushed back up to the top of this area, 39.15 half. We're now trading back down. I am of the mind that we need to get back to the 50 daily. Now, these are weekly bars, so the 50 daily is kind of sitting in around the 74s here. So, I don't want to call it too much here, but I don't think we have a fundamental catalyst to move to the downside at the moment any further. But, if we are in a bear market, I think, I think pushing down to, I think Morgan Stanley's are looking at 34s to trade before this is all said and done and lift out of there. So, I think, look, I'm going to actually kind of set my hands a little bit here with the SPOOs. We're going to have a much deeper look at this market at 2 o'clock meeting in Duggan Capital. So, it's just an interesting breakdown point here for really a 39.09s. So, watch this space. I'm not really giving any guidance on this today. Oil really dropped off there yesterday. It was just knocking. Well, let's look at the 60-minute first up. We were just holding on the 20 EMA here at the time. I'll get rid of some of these. Get rid of some of these areas here, and that's the one I want to get rid of. You can see he was just holding on the 20s for quite some time. 8 o'clock, just excess below in the 20 EMA number of times, and then finally, what was it? I think two. It was more like half to three here. Just really slipped below the 20 and held and pushed down to the 109.61s, and it was very, very tricky to. I know it looks simple in here, just buy the 20, sell it on the highs on day, buy the 20, look to sell it back in the highs on day, but really it's not that easy given that you had this breakdown there at about 2 o'clock on the open. Selling came in, bounced back above, sold down again, round trip then back into the close on the session. So, but this round tripping back up and new highs on the day on the close, really nice to see. Still supported by the 20 EMA at a higher price today. So really, really resilient market for now. So on oil, really resilient. Should we slip under? It's still, because the selling was not really that fluid here yesterday under the 20 EMA. I don't expect it to be that fluid, again today. If we do slip under, I do expect those offers to be rebought, targeting much higher on this market. Bringing in to play some of these daily bar levels. The 2007 low, look, that's very far up here, 117.61. So, but I think we're going to do it for sure. There's just a little bit of the daily structure on oil. What else? And then I said we'd look at the bonds today. So the bond taking a hell of a push this morning. We'll actually look at it on the 60 minutes first up, and you can see zooming in here, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in Frankfurt. I'll have some Bratwurst and some buns, 10 years, please. Push to the R3, one lovely big move. Chart calculator from top to bottom there was 1.37%. Pulled back on pivot, rebought. A couple of the guys in the room catching this on the rebuy and looking for a little bit of upside. Already taking some scales on that now, and you can see it's just not easy so far. If you're buying this late stage in the bid off of pivot, somewhere like here, you're going to be wearing a lot of heat on your hands as this looks to support on pivot again here. And I think we can get a new high on day. If we get more selling coming into these markets, we could potentially get a new high on day. So watch this space. In the grander scheme of things on these bonds, I think we're set for a nice little retracement. I was expecting the buying to come in on the bonds a little earlier, but a couple of weeks ago, but just wasn't the right environment. And so looking at the 10-year in the US, look, I think it's found support back in this range, 115.21 halves, came back top of the range, just a little pullback here. I think 117.20s has to be priced in today for sure, and potentially higher. So that's kind of it for me for another free US session. Please do sign up to get a free 1 month to the room. It'd be great to see you. We've got a couple of guys have come in, which is a few familiar faces, which is great. So listen, have a good day. Enjoy your Wednesday, and I'll talk to you later.